Welcome to a special holiday edition of the Inner Sanctum. What's special and what's holiday about it? Well, it's special because it has been 3 months between the last episode, and it's holiday because I got this stupid fucking hat on, because it's bright and shiny outside. My vampire powers are being drained, and because I'm in my reverse man cave, which we just finished a few days ago, and I'm very happy because it is very much a man cave, and everything that makes me a cool music man or whatever is up here, and it's all here in this special layer of mine, and no girls allowed. No, just kidding. I like my girlfriend being up here a lot. So yeah, it's a special holiday edition, I guess, whatever. And I'm just gonna zip through, I guess, like some shorter reviews, just a little bit unknown artists, because I've been talking about way too many well-known artists lately, and I don't want to do that anymore. I'm sick of it. No, I'm not. I'm just going to talk about a little more obscure and forgotten albums, some real quick 3-4 minute reviews, and yeah, this is probably a quick episode, but what the hell, hopefully I get this out before Christmas, and it'll be your special Inner Sanctum Dark Ambient Christmas treat, which you can watch with your families while you fucking cut turkey and open presents and whatever all dark ambient loving families do. There are no dark ambient loving families, are there? Up first then is a little known project from the UK called Convalescent. Convalescent was a short-lived project that only had one album back in 2005 on the God is Myth Records label called Before Sunrise. I got this record from God is Myth Records back in that time period because I was doing a zine called Learn Hypnosis, and they'd sent me in for a promo review, and I absolutely loved the record. It was, I don't know, I remember 2005 not really being a really exciting year for dark ambient music, particularly. I remember this record really kind of stood out, because around that time period, I was getting a lot of promos for, like, dark ambient and related music, but a lot of it was just kind of really super simple, just like this, I don't know, really just cavernous, and just kind of, I guess just kind of boring dark ambient music. Well, super boring, but, you know, just lacked a lot of character, and this record had a lot more character, so it really stood out. And I mean, obviously I've kept it for many years now. It's almost, 15-year-old record, and still to this day I enjoy it quite a bit every time I throw it on. Anyway, Convalescent was a short-lived project. He only did this one album called Before Sunrise, and the project was created by a guy named John Marshall. He doesn't really seem to be active in music anymore today, but he also, back in those days, had a few black metal projects that he was a part of or spearheading, yeah, I don't know what he's up to nowadays, but this is a record that I've always kind of, kept close to me, always enjoyed it, and nowadays, I guess it's really a hidden gem, and, it goes on, like, Discogs for, like, $5, maybe it's popped up, on eBay too once in a while. There's probably, like, heavy metal distros that have it sitting in there for, like, $3 or $4, something really cheap like that. So it's definitely worth hunting down, or if you just randomly come across it, it's a cool record to check out. But anyway, it's a record that has a bit more substance, I think. There's, field recordings. There's some more active and melodic touches to this particular record. And I know by today's standards that doesn't necessarily seem like anything too exciting, but back in 2005, that still kind of felt like something kind of new to hear that on a dark ambient record, and you get a good amount of that in this album. There's also, for better or worse, there's some pretty obvious Burzum influences on one of the tracks. The title track is actually a 22-minute song that sounds like it's really heavily influenced by that, like, 24-25 minute long track on Burzum's Philosophem album. Really much in that style. It's kind of repetitive, hypnotic, and just really memorable. I don't know, I always liked that Burzum track, so and it reminds me of that a lot, and knowing that John was a black metal guy, it probably makes sense that he was influenced by that. But it was a really cool track. I like the title track's probably one of the best songs on this album, for sure. some, some noisier textures and stuff like that. Even one track has something of a, I guess, like almost like a dark wave kind of vibe going for it. It's cool. It's different, and honestly, it's kind of a shame John didn't make more than one album with this project, because I think he was really onto something cool. And I actually did an interview with him back shortly after this album came out, and I don't really remember the contents of the interview because I haven't read it in a long time. But I did put it online on my YouTube channel about 2 years ago with the full album. So if you want to check it out, I'm gonna post it right about here. It'll magically appear here, and you click on that link and you go check out that interview and learn a little bit more about Convalescent and the project that was and the project that could have been more. I think if John had continued with this project, it would have been a really cool album, or a really cool project to follow throughout the years, but I guess he just lost motivation for it after Before Sunrise, which is a shame, because it is, like I said, a really good, solid record, and if you find it, definitely get it. It's worth looking up. If nothing else, just check it on this here YouTube channel of mine and give it a listen. It's a great record. So here's the front cover, and I don't really know what that is. I guess it's a rock or something, and convalescent is a word that basically means the gradual return to strength and health after sickness and illness, and I don't really know what that is on it. I think I'd probably have to read that interview I did with him again to know what that. So I think I asked him actually what the hell is on the cover there. I think he said it's a rock and it represents something or another. I just don't know what the hell he said it represents. So there's the front cover, and there's the back, just black with the song titles. Not really exciting, but hey. And hey, let's continue the black theme. The CD is black, and yeah. And the reverse side of the booklet has blackness and the God is Myth info. And the inside is, what the hell is that? Well, there's the inside of the booklet. I don't know what it is, but it looks kind of cool, kind of grim. It's like a black metal thing, right? And yeah, that's the inside of the booklet of Before Sunrise by Convalescent. Anyone out there remember 3-inch CDRs? Yeah, 3-inch CDRs. That was actually a thing back in, I guess it was kind of like the early 2000s to maybe like 2008. I remember there was just a lot of projects that were releasing their music on these 3-inch CDRs, and 3-inch CDRs are basically like a normal CDR. They're just, well, they can only hold 21 minutes of music, and they're 3 inches in diameter. I remember like noise bands, experimental electronic, and even some dark ambient projects were all releasing their music. Well, not all of their music, but some were having releases on these CDRs, and there weren't too many that I got over the years, but there was some really good ones, and probably the best one that came out during that time period was Vestigial's Aeon, which was released in 2007 on New Sun Recordings. This is another album I'm fairly certain I got as a promo for my zine, Hypnosis. I guess New Sun Recordings, whomever that is, sent me it for a review, and I remember just absolutely loving this record at the time of its release. I remember at the time, this was like, in my mind, this was like something really fucking revolutionary. I mean, this was like the closest like competitor to like Atrium Carcerate and stuff like that at the time, because Vestigial was an Italian project that just combined just really nightmarish soundscapes with like a Tree the Machinery sounds and just all kinds of crazy industrial vibes and droning atmospheres and these sort of distorted, grumbly vocals. It really had a bit of a cinematic sound to it, even kind of before that whole cinematic dark ambient genre was kind of defined. Really, it was. I think it's really a pretty important release in the development of cinematic dark ambient, to be honest with you. And I don't know that these songs necessarily tell a tale, but it's just got those vibes. It's very engaging, and if you really give it a chance to listen to it, it really takes you to this fucking really dark place and just really just forbidden, evil sounding shit here. I mean, I love this stuff. So Vestigial seemed like at the time like a big time act kind of coming into his own like on his 2007 debut. When I first heard this stuff, I was thinking like, wow, these 4 songs, this is this guy's Holly starting. This is going to be an amazing project. It's going to go a long time and really be a big artist in the scene one day. Unfortunately, he didn't really release too much after that. He had one full-length album in 2009, I believe, on Cold Meat Industry, and then that was, I think, a few more EPs that were kind of in that time period too, and then he disappeared. Later on, some of those recordings were paired up in a compilation released by Cyclic Law. I think that was in 2013, but by then the project was already done for. But like a lot of projects that are, you know, seemingly active, Vestigial kind of teases about a return here and there, and I mean, I don't know, maybe he performs live, I don't know. I think he's had some songs on compilations recently, so maybe he's back, but, you know, you're not really back until you make a whole new album or EP, in my opinion, so whatever. But yeah, this is great stuff. I mean, this 3-inch CDRs aren't really the most accommodating media because you can only play them on a computer, and they can't be played in a car stereo or a normal stereo due to their size. But, you know, if you have them, you can just, I guess, rip them and, you know, play them on your computer rather than inserting them in there and messing around with all that. 'Cause it's kind of a pain in the ass. Or sometimes when you put them in your hard or your drive, it doesn't even necessarily read them. It just spits it back out. It's kind of annoying. So if you can get them there, yeah, just rip them and go from there. It's probably the best way to do it. Anyway, Vestigial was a cool project. I really wish this Italian project had gone on longer. It's well, I don't know if it's necessarily underappreciated. It's appreciated, but it could have been a lot bigger. And yeah, definitely a great project that, you know, had a lot of potential. And this is just great dark stuff that you know, twisted. Just man, it's just awesome. It's really, you know, I guess you could say like prototype cinematic dark ambient music. Maybe is the best way to put it. It's just really special. It's a great release and. You can score this, you know, off the sites like Discogs for $5-6. It's worth it, or it's probably on Bandcamp somewhere digitally, so maybe just go that route or look it up on YouTube. Either way, it's a great release. Check it out. It's Vestigial's Aeon. So here's the front cover of Aeon by Vestigial, and pretty cool artwork. I think the creator of Vestigial, he did all the artwork for this release as well, so it's pretty cool stuff. And here's the back cover. And yeah, this was all wrote and recorded, mastered in 2006 and released in 2007. As you can see, this first pressing was also hand-numbered, hand-limited, hand-numbered. This is number 95 of 99. So, I think there was a few pressings of this one. I think there was at least 2 or 3 pressings. So it was a very popular release. And then here's the inside. What does that say? Oh, it's the track listing right there. So, you know, pretty cool stuff. And then the CDR itself is just held within this little attached little thingy here. And then, well, the CDR itself is extremely plain, and then it's got the black backing. So it looks pretty cool, actually. I mean, it, you know, it seemed like kind of around like after this release came out, that was kind of when 3-inch CDRs kind of disappeared and went extinct. But I just looked them up on Amazon. Apparently, you can still buy them in like bundles of like 50 to 100. So I pretty much have to do a Noctilucant release in this style and bring this stupid format back to life just for the fucks of it. So anyway, those are 3-inch CDRs, and that's Vestigial's Aeon. Well worth checking out. Great little record there. Another little treasure to find from Dark Ambient's foreboding past is Non-Ethos's Sick Asphalt, released back in 2007 on AFE Records. AFE Records was an Italian label that stood for Another Friendly Edition, and it was basically the label of this guy named Andrea Maruti, and he had been doing the label since I think the mid-90s, and the label went from about 95 until like 2012, 2013, and he had a lot of releases that were in like the dark ambient, experimental noise, industrial, whatever the fuck, experimental music you can think of, just, you know, all kinds of experimental electronic shit basically. Well, that's what you got on AFE Records, and he made a lot of releases between that time, and a lot of them came in this packaging that's very comparable to the packaging that Noctilucant does nowadays, where it's in these plastic sleeves with the cardboard inserts. Non-Ethos was a project from Hardliff Langhaus, the man behind North Haunt and The Human Voice, And Not Ethos was a project he did from, I guess, 1997 to about 2003. So it's, I think it almost predates Northhaunt by a year or something? I don't know. I'm not sure when he started Northhaunt exactly. I can't remember now. But both projects were kind of created around the same time. But Non-Ethos was sort of his, I guess, jack-of-all-trades project, just his whatever. You know, if whatever didn't fit in Northhaunt probably went in this project. This was something he did from 1997 to 2003. And apparently he made like a number of releases, but only 2 of them actually saw a release. The first one was on AFE around 2000, I think. And then this one was, I think, finished in 2002, 2003, but didn't get released until 2007. And it's an interesting project because it's quite different from what you're expecting from Harlef. It doesn't really have that cold atmosphere that Northhaunt is known for, nor that more melancholy vibe that he's got going with like the human voice, you know. It's more, there's a lot more like noises involved. It's much more drony, not melodic in any way. There's a lot of field recordings, of course. You know, you gotta expect that from a guy like Harlef Langhaus. And just a lot of just weird sounds, you know, manipulated and to form the songs. It's probably really more experimental and noisy than it actually is dark ambient. But the dark ambient textures and soundscapes are all intermingled in there, so it definitely can, you know, fit into that, you know, the same realm. It's a release worth checking out. You know, I guess if you're a pretty big fan of Harlef Langhaus, as I am. This was something I accidentally got my hands on back in 2007 because AFE Records, again, had sent me it for a review for my zine Lunar Hypnosis. And looking back to this album when I first got it, I can't for the life of me remember what my reaction to it was, but I think I must have at least liked some of it because I was already a fan of Northhaunt back then, so it would have made sense that I probably would have liked some of this record, I guess. But definitely, you know, if you're into something a little more experimental and different, and just want to see a different, you know, different side to Harlef and his music creations, especially one of his earliest creations, Non-Ethos is definitely worth looking up. And this CD is another one. You know, grab it from Discogs for a couple bucks, I guess, $6-7. You know, it's obviously it's only limited to 100 copies, so it sold out years ago, I'm sure. And but I think Harlef did have some on his Bandcamp site a while ago. I think those probably sold out too. Well, whatever. Anyway, it's probably not too hard to get if you really want to hear, or it's available digitally on his Bandcamp too if you want to check it out. Both of the albums that got released around there. So yeah, if you want something a little more industrial and a little more, you know, abstract and weird and just out there and experimental, this is definitely a release looking up. It's not too bad. It's not, you know, too great either. But Harlef Langhaus fan, fucking A, check it out. So, here's the front cover, and again, it comes in these plastic sleeves, which everyone, you know, loves, I guess. You know, pretty cool. I don't know. I don't mind them, really. There's the front cover. Well, it's a puddle and some really abstract shit going on there. Then the back cover, we have a pair of feet. Yeah, sort of a, you know, kind of an urban look to it. I like that, and yeah, that's cool. I like that. And that's all we got here. So, what do we got here? So here's the CD. It is a CDR, of course. I was holding upside down, I think. There's the CD. That comes in a little plastic sleeve here. Let's put that back in so I don't damage it anymore. I probably, yeah. Let's put that right there. I won't hurt it. It has this. What is this? I don't know what this was. Well, this was in here. I guess it must have been part of the packaging originally. It's like obi kind of thing that some of those Japanese CDs have, I think. Back with a little bit of information on the pressing. And, yeah. Here's one of the panels. And, there's that, too. What do we got here? Sick asphalt is a meditation on time, urban emptiness, and nature's destructive forces. The ever-ongoing erosion, the crack in the asphalt that slowly spreads, unheard, unseen in the urban nights. Sometimes patched by street workers, but never stopped, just like we can't mend the cracks in ourselves. Non-Ethos is Hardlift Langhouse, blah, 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 blah. Thanks goes out to, okay, so on and so forth. You get the idea. Well, that is Non-Ethos's Sick Asphalt. Cool stuff. Check it out. Alright, I'm back from my little pizza and beer break, and what am I drinking here? Chai Milk Stout Nitro. What the? Maybe this is actually my true niche here. I should be doing beer reviews and dark ambient reviews. Yeah, whatever. So, one more review, and before we close this shorter episode of the Inner Sanctum. And this is a project that I think is maybe a little forgotten in time by an otherwise prolific and legendary composer. It's the band Cataclyst, if I'm pronouncing that right. I don't think Cataclyst, I don't know, whatever. It was kind of a one-off project from Peter Anderson from Rising to Ichiri and a woman named Joanna Rosenquist or something like that. I can't pronounce Swedish names, some are really weird. Anyway, she was from an industrial project called Institute, which she was doing in the early 90s, I think as a duo with someone else. I'm completely unfamiliar with that project, but based off a little bit I heard, it was kind of typical, early 90s industrial. If that resonates with you and makes any sense to you. If not, I guess do a little searching around and it will hopefully make a little more sense to you. But basically, this project had one recording back in 1992, which was then never released. Well, it wasn't properly released until 1999 when Peter Anderson released it on his own Yenta Atmospheres record label in a limited CDR of like 100 quantities. And basically the music of this project was basically take throwaway tracks from Razin to Ichiri and that's like that sort of typical early 90s industrial sound and beats, and combine that with the I guess poor quality Razin to Ichiri tracks, and you've basically got Cataclyst. Monuments of a Rubicund Age, this particular version was later re-released in 2007 by, who the hell is that? Tantric Harmonies re-released it. They're a Russian label. Tantric Harmonies re-released this in 2007 in this, basically paper sleeve kind of thing, paper envelope kind of fold-out thingy we got going here. Because obviously the original CDR pressing from 1999 had sold out many years earlier. So yeah, as I said, this is it's pretty obvious these are just throwaway tracks from Razin to Ichiri that Peter didn't know what the hell to do with, and then I guess he must have had just asked Joanna to be a part of this little project of him experimenting, trying something different, and this is what they came up with. But obviously they weren't really too happy with it back in 1992 because it remained unreleased until 1992. So that kind of puts into perspective how actually good this release is. And I only just recently bought this record off of Discogs for $2, partially because of the quality and because the packaging is pretty mangled from the user I bought it from. But nevertheless, I mean, I've been on this sort of slow-going quest to just check out all of Peter's projects, and if I can score them for cheap, that's fine with me too, because I don't think he necessarily has every single one of his projects on his Bandcamp, so he definitely doesn't have physical versions of them either. So it's it's kind of cool if I can pick them up for a cheap price, because I have. this record that really stands out and blows my mind. You know, it's you can't, just by the description alone, you kind of know what you're getting into, and I mean, it's that sort of cathedral-like early Razan de Itre sound, those industrial beats, and there's some tribal percussion too, which is also actually similar to one of another project Peter had back in the day too. And I'm assuming Peter plays all the instruments and Joanna just provides the industrial beats and I think the spoken parts in one or two of the songs too. I'm assuming it's her. I mean, it's samples, I don't know. The booklet doesn't really give any indication on what each member did. And, you know, there isn't any special song that really stands out. The Dwarves in the Hidden Realm song is, actually in this particular release, is a shorter version because the original version was 19 minutes and it's a pretty monotonous song where it's just this really steady tribal beat. It actually sounds like some weird shit out of Jumanji or something. I don't know. It's weird. I don't like it. But it's a song that stands out. It's just, I don't know. Jumanji. All right, so that's that song, and that's kind of Cataclyst and Cataclyst. I don't know how to pronounce it in a nutshell, really. So here is the front cover. It's got some grim, sad statue in a cemetery. You know, gothic shit. Yep, gothic. Oh my god. Well, there goes the CD. There's the back cover, as you can see, more of that same statue in the cemetery. And there's the CD, which I probably just dinged up a little bit. And the inside. There's a little peg to hold the CD in, as you can see. Extra information right there about the record label, and yeah, that's really about it for Cataclyst. Well guys, that's about it for this little bit shorter episode of the Inner Sanctum, and as always, I have to thank you for checking this out and spending a little time with me in my my new reverse man cave, as I've come to call it, / studio, as this will be where I'll be creating all of my own music from the future onwards. Yeah, it's pretty cool up here. It's nice and private. I really like it, and yeah, it's awesome up here. I like it. It's really all the things up here that make me a music man and a dark ambient man and a man in general, I guess, are up here. So it's all really cool, and I like it, and it's good times. So I'm glad I had to spend a fucking lot of money and make myself a huge credit card debt to make this all a reality. So now I can spend like the next 6 months not buying any CDs at all and paying it all off. Alright, well anyway guys, thanks. You know, a few people have messaged me and said stuff like, they like basically asked me like, how can we support you? Because I guess some people really like their shit, and that's awesome, and now that I have my own little, you know, sanctuary up here, I think I'll be able to, you know, make episodes a little more frequently and all that stuff, and hopefully, you know, if I can get these going, you know, make maybe 1 or 2 a month, and then, you know, maybe the fan base will grow. So it seems like every video I've made so far, every episode I've made so far, they always seem to cap out right around like the 500 views mark, and it doesn't go above that. I'm trying to figure out why that is, so maybe I'll just make more episodes and talk about more dark ambient releases. Maybe the fan base will grow and we'll get more people checking this stuff out, spreading the word, and all that kind of good stuff. But anyway, people have asked, how can we support you? How can we make this shit better? Well, I don't know really how you can do that, but I guess if you really want to support me, because I don't do any of this Patreon stuff or I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you. I don't do that. So if you want to support me, the best thing you can do is, I guess, is just buy my music on Bandcamp. Check out my music under the Noctilucant name. I mean, it's cinematic, dark ambient, almost all of it. And if you're into that sort of thing, if you're into stuff that's on Cryo Chamber, but probably not as good as the stuff on Cryo Chamber, you will probably like my music. And, you know, a lot of the albums, almost all of the albums are available for just $1. And, yeah, I mean, I'm really proud of my music. I think it's cool. I think it's worth checking out. And, yeah, it makes me sound arrogant, then so be it, I guess. But I'm proud of my creations, and I'm not afraid to say that. So if you like cinematic, dark ambient music, check out the Noctilucant, and you will be supporting me. And supporting Inner Sanctum, of course, too. And that's about it. So all I can say in conclusion is, Hail Santa, Have a good Merry Christmas, joyous Kwanzaa. Oh shit, what else is there? What the hell did Jews celebrate? Oh Jesus, this is embarrassing. Hanukkah? Is it? Yeah, Hanukkah. So celebrate Hanukkah. Celebrate your pagan holidays too, because that's where all of it's derived from anyway, really. So, you know, celebrate that shit too. And if you don't believe in any of that shit, that's fine too. Don't fucking do a damn thing, but whatever. Have a good holiday, and don't get too drunk on the New Year's. And I will see you in 2019. All right, later.